Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Nubian Journeys. We thank you for being here today and hope you're having a fantabulous day. We want to acknowledge Mr. Lion Pride himself for allowing us to use his intro today. And you can check him out on YouTube. The information is on your screen. Where are we zooming into today, you may ask? I'm glad you are asking. Today, we are going to zoom into Bonaire. Where is Bonaire, you may ask? It is north of Venezuela. Looking at the map, if you look to the bottom of your screen, you will see that Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba are near the bottom. So, Bonaire is located about 50 miles north of Venezuela. It is about 24 miles long and 7 miles wide, so not that large. The capital is Kralenjdik. I'm probably saying that wrong. Someone please correct me. And it has about 26,000 inhabitants. So you are asking, and I'm glad you are asking, what does it mean to be a municipality with special status? It means that residents who hold Dutch nationality are permitted to vote in Dutch national parliamentary elections. And while the Dutch law applies heavily to these islands, certain mainland rules do not. All right, so do not confuse the special municipalities with other Dutch Caribbean territories. So, for example, Aruba, Curacao, and Sint Maarten are autonomous constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but Bonaire, Saba, and Sint Eustatius are fundamentally part of the Netherlands itself. So Bonaire retained its own unique culture while residents enjoy the same rights, I repeat again, the same rights as Dutch citizens, including the right to vote in Dutch parliamentary elections in the Netherlands. Okay, so let's move on. So this is just a map of Bonaire. For those of us who haven't been there, including myself, these are some of the places you will see in Bonaire, and you'll also see the star beside the capital of Bonaire. A little bit of history from about 500 AD. Arawak Indians lived on the island. The first contact with Europeans came in about 1499, and of course, when Spain claimed the island. However, they didn't find a whole lot for agriculture, which is what they were looking for, and so they didn't really develop the country that much. However, they did also enslave the Arawak Indians and moved many of them to Hispaniola, which is Haiti and Dominica today, and they moved them there to work on the plantations that the Spanish had there. And even though this slide says about 500 years ago, the Arawaks, not 500 years ago, but 500 years AD, um, the Arawaks were there, but history says that the island was inhabited probably around 3,400 BP or 1450 years before Christ. So it's been inhabited for a really long time. Little more history because I love it. Starting in 1623, ships of the West India Company called at Bonaire arrived there looking for meat, water, and wood. Then in 1633, the Dutch, having lost the island of Saint Martin to the Spanish, retaliated by attacking Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. Bonaire was conquered in 1636. Then, just of note at the bottom in green, you will notice that the Dutch and the Spanish fought from 1568 to 1648 in what is known as the 80 Years' War. Now, I don't know about you, but when I learned history, I did not know that the 80-Year War had anything to do with the Caribbean islands. And you might be asking, well, why were they fighting? So the 80-Year War in 1568 to 1648, the Netherlands was fighting for independence from Spain, and that led to the separation of the northern and southern Netherlands and the formation of the United Provinces of Netherlands. So as mentioned before, salt became a major export from from Bonaire, and so they brought in African slaves or enslaved people from Africa were put to work alongside the Arawak Indians. They also had them cultivating dyewood and maize and harvesting solar salt. During the Napoleon Wars, or Napoleonic Wars, the Netherlands lost control of Bonaire twice in 1800 to 1803 and also in 1807 to 1816. During those times, the British had control of both Curacao and Bonaire. And these islands were returned to the Netherlands under the Anglo-Dutch Treaty of 1814, which I found to be very interesting. Now, I freely and happily admit that I'm a bit of a nerd, and when I learned history, I had no idea that during the Napoleonic Wars, there was anything to do with Caribbean islands. And while I'm learning about these islands, I'm realizing that a lot of these islands passed from one country to the next, one ruler to the next during this time. So learning that, in 1814, this is one of the parts of the treaty. So I was just very, interested to learn that. And as I mentioned before, Bonaire became heavily focused on solar salt extraction, and enslaved Africans were used to harvest the salt. If you do go to Bonaire, you will notice that they do have some preserved historical monuments showing the huts that the slaves used to live in, and they had slavery there for about 200 years. Now we move forward in history, and I realize that during the German occupation of Netherlands, during World War II, which was not that long ago, Bonaire was a protectorate of Britain and the US. And the American Army built the Flamingo Airport there as an air base. After Germany invaded the Netherlands on May 10, 1940s, the authorities there declared martial law, and many German and Austrian citizens, as well as Dutch, thought to be German sympathizers, were interned in a camp in Bonaire. So before all of this, or alongside that, politically, Bonaire formed a part of the Netherlands Antilles. So before it became the special municipality, it was a part of the Netherlands Antilles from 1954 to 2010, and now it is a special municipality. And I'm not going to go too much over this because we've mentioned this. The only thing I want to mention is the bottom of the screen where it says in 2011, the island officially adopted the US dollar as its currency after it became a municipality or special municipality of the Netherlands. So that's the one thing. If you are visiting, US currency is what is used there. And you may ask, what's the economy of Bonaire like? For the most part, tourism is a big part of the economy there. They are trying to diversify, but you will notice that there is a lot of tourists and tourism things there. There isn't a lot of agriculture. If you're looking at this graph, you will notice it says agriculture, nature conservation, etc. And it's zero, meaning that um, there is a lot of salt because they desalinize the water from the ocean. So all the drinking water, most of it, from Bonaire is, or in Bonaire, is from the ocean. So they do reverse osmosis, and that's how they get their drinking water. So a lot of the fresh water comes from there, or also from rain if they have rain. Of note is that it's a little bit of a arid country, so or semi-arid. So just something to think about if you are going to visit. But the water is purified, so you can drink it. So just a little thing, few things about the economy again. So taxes, because it is a public entity of the Netherlands, it follows the laws and regulations applied there. And so you will notice that profit tax is zero, dividend tax is very small, but you do pay taxes on your wages there. And so you will see that there. I have a few other notes here just saying that there's a special type of investment exemption. It offers what's called a VBI structure. If special conditions are met, a qualifying investment company is fully exempt from corporate income tax. And then for real estate, the island is very low property taxes there and no capital gains tax on your primary residence. So it's just something to know if you're planning to move or invest there. Ethnic groups, language, and religion. Of course, it's a blend of African, Spanish, Dutch, and indigenous influences. The language officially is Dutch, but there's also Papiamentu or Papiamento spoken, which is the local Creole. There's some English and Spanish. And most people there are Catholic. Education. So Bonaire uses the Dutch education system with important adaptations to the local situation. So since 2010, the island falls under Dutch administration as a special municipality, which I've mentioned before. And so this means that the same quality standards which apply in the Netherlands also apply in Bonaire. So schools receive funding directly from the Netherlands, ensuring that they have stable budgets. So it requires all children between the age of 4 and 18 to attend school regularly. And so you will see there that they have languages of instruction as Dutch and Papiamentu. And between 4 and 18, kids are required to go to school. The flag and anthem. Their anthem is Terra di Solo y Suave Viento. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Land of Sun and Gentle Breeze. And this is their flag. This flag was adapted in 1981. And it represents blue and yellow, which you can see on the flag, represents the beautiful Caribbean Sea, which is the blue one. The smaller yellow and triangle represents the bright sun. The white stripe symbolizes the sky and represents peace and tranquility. And the black compass symbolizes Bonaire's population as seafaring and navigating peoples from all across the world, while the six-pointed red star honors the island's traditional villages. So there you go. Wherever you see this flag, you will always know it's the flag of Bonaire. What can you do in Bonaire? Apparently a lot. You can go scuba diving, snorkeling, windsurfing. If you like nature, there's a donkey sanctuary. There's a saltwater lagoon. There is all kinds of stuff there. Um, there's Rincon, which was founded in 1527 as the oldest village in Bonaire, so you can always go there. And then there's the salt pans and the slave huts, which you can look, which is a part of history. So if you do go, please come back to this video and tell us what you see, what you liked, and how it is, and I'll do the same. If you like food, like I like food, then Bonaire might be the place for you. Their national dish is cabrito stoba. I might have said that wrong, but it is a rich and hearty goat stew. Every Caribbean person knows a good goat stew, and so I'm willing to try this goat stew. So they also have fresh fish. They have snapper and other types of fish. Lionfish, which I don't even know what that is, but I'd be willing to try it. They also have pistache, which is a golden fried, deep fried pastries. I would try that. Stuffed with meat, poultry, and shrimp. And then there's also, of course, the liqueur. So, if you're going, try it. Let me know what you tried, how it was, and we'll go from there. And once again, I'm going to thank you for joining me today on Nubian Journeys. Looking at this map, I hope you can see where Bonaire is without looking everywhere. You should know it's at the bottom near Venezuela. Thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic day wherever you are.